Some cards are just freaking difficult, and that's exactly the kind of cards I want to talk about today. My name is Anya Esma, and I know that a lot of you loved my Wild Unknown video where I talk about all of the cards that I love the most. And a lot of you have also expressed some issues with some of the more difficult cards in the deck, which is why I want to reframe these cards and sort of give a little bit of context and tell you how I read them. They are still terrifying, but at least they have clear messages to me at this point. And I don't think they are unnecessarily gory or unnecessarily brutal, at least not in my mind. But we can explore that together. The first card I want to talk about is Death. This is terrifying to some people because it has quite a detailed view of a bird skeleton. And what I love about this card, however, is that you can see that the bird still has his eye. It's not just a skull, there is an eye in there, at least the way I see it. And the way I interpret this is that your consciousness is still there. And you can suddenly see everything in a different way. You know, you see all of the structures that make up your mind and your consciousness in a very clear way. You can suddenly see all of the hang-ups that you might have, or all of the issues, where they come from. Basically, the makeup, the landscape of your mind. It is stripped down to its bones, stripped down to its core. And, you know, seeing your mind, your psyche, maybe even your body in a very detailed and revealed way. That's what this card means to me. So asking yourself about those underlying structures, those bones that give stability, that allow you to fly maybe even, and examining this is what this Death card is about for me. So it's quite positive, actually, even though I understand that some people find the imagery a little bit gruesome. The next card I want to speak about is the Ten of Swords. It's already a card that many people are afraid of when they draw it. And this imagery hurts me every time I look at it, because the sword is just going straight through the eyes of this bull. Yeah, it's not nice to think about your eyes being pierced, but at the same time, I feel like it also has a powerful message. And much like Death, where you had the seeing eye, the almost all-seeing eye that reveals structures, you have a strong body that is not stripped to the bones, but you don't have the eyes there, you don't have the perception, you don't have the understanding, if you will. So the Ten of Swords to me is a reminder that there is something that you're not seeing, and something that might defeat you if you don't open your eyes to it. If you don't perceive the negativity or the issues around or within, then you're going to end up being defeated by all of the bad energy around you or bad energy within you. Then before we get to the card that I myself have issues with, let's talk about the Nine of Swords. Also a very gruesome card. It has maggots. It has something that looks like a dinosaur tail to me. Nobody quite knows what this is, and I love asking people what they think it is. Some people say it's part of a bird, a horn. I don't know. Eyeballs, it's not nice to look at, and that's exactly what I feel this card embodies. It's something within that you do not want to face. It's so disgusting that you don't want to see it, you know? If you see this card, you just want to turn away. You don't want to look at it. And that's the message it holds. It wants you to look at the more problematic parts about yourself, the parts that scare you, the behaviors that scare you. You know, think of all the behaviors you exhibit every day that make you feel kind of icky afterwards, like, ugh, I wish I hadn't acted like that in this situation. I wish I hadn't reacted like that. And most of the time we tend to forget about these things. We just say like, okay, let's just act like it didn't happen. I don't want to rummage about it, so I'm going to try to release it and forget it. But looking at these things more closely can reveal some of the shadows and prevent you from acting like this again, because that's what we often do. We act in a way that we ourselves don't consider to be in alignment with our highest self, but then we don't examine why we did it. We just try to forget it and do better next time. But it helps to look at these behaviors, even if we don't want to, even if they look like eyeballs and maggots and decaying pieces of flesh that you just want to forget and get out of your mind. It's sometimes worth it to examine them. Now, the Five of Swords. This card I have some problems with. The Five of Swords is, traditionally about a battle ending and you having to sort of realign yourself and think about what mindsets you can keep, what mindsets you have to shed. And I feel like this worm is being cut apart by a sword. And as you know, or at least it is said, I don't know if it's true, if you cut a worm in half, both halves are going to live on happily ever after, until they get eaten by birds. And I feel like it might imply that you might be torn by something happening and there are two new mindsets developing within you. They can be opposed or they can be related to each other. And finding out which new mindset fits you best is probably the task that this card embodies. Let me know what you think about it, because I'm not quite sure about this card myself and I feel like it can be read in many, many ways. So let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this little video. I hope that you gained some new perspectives and that you don't hate these cards so much anymore. It would make me very happy if you subscribe and like this video. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been joining recently, who has made my live videos so enjoyable. I will be doing another one very soon. I wish you all the best with your Wild Unknown deck. It's a lot of fun once you accept the darker cards and let in the messages that they have for you and sort of get over the gruesome imagery. Have a great day. I love you all and I'll see you next time.